You know.
Right. I hear you.
All right, let's get into this, man. I know we're live. I'm not sure if somebody's hopping on, but thank you so much, James. We met for the people who are listening to this on a replay. Hopefully, this is a replay. I met James via Twitter, and I think we're engaging underneath one of our friends or Gary V's comments. Long story short, and here I was like, oh, this guy's engaging. So like when I see somebody on Twitter actually engaging, I'm like, oh, that's a human being. So I go check them out and see what they're doing. And so when I seen your profile, it said 30 years of cold calling experience. I was like, beast mode. This guy's a beast. And
that just means I'm old, man.
One of the things that people don't realize, that especially people who are entrepreneurs, like aspire to be entrepreneurs or be successful in that area, sales is an essential tool they have as a foundation. And when I seen your profile, I immediately wanted to interview you because I think you bring so much value to people. It's a timeless principle, no matter how techy this world gets. Do you agree or disagree?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Cold calling, some say it's dead, but it is still the quickest way to actually connect with someone and try to sell your product or your service or what have you.
Awesome. We got somebody on our Periscope from Russia. I have your handle and my tweet. Yeah, he just said hello. He's giving us a smiley. What's up, Alex? Thanks for joining us on Periscope. I'm with James here. James has been doing cold calling for 30 plus years. I don't know if you're into business or sales, but this guy has tons of wisdom I can't dive into. If you guys have any questions, please post them here. If I miss it, just kind of do a lot of hearts to get my attention. But thank you so much. I honestly want to know your superhero origin story, bro. Like, you're in Las Vegas. Is this your business that you run, correct?
Yes, I run 2 call center floors in Las Vegas.
So give us a rundown. Who you are, where you live, you're married, you got kids, how long you've been in business, what's your superhero origin story? Ready, set, go.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so I'm married, live in Las Vegas, been in Las Vegas for about 5 years, originally from Colorado, so I'm a Denver guy. Big Broncos fan, got to be when you grow up in Denver. Started out working in restaurants. I was a chef for quite a while. Worked up to executive chef for a company called McCormick and Schmick's. They're white tablecloth seafood restaurant. Then I transitioned. I got burned out on that. Transitioned over to starting to sell produce, and that's how my sales career started.
Oh, McCormick's, okay. So you started getting into sales that way. How old were you when you started getting into it?
About 20 years old, something like that. 20
years old?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep.
And
sold produce face-to-face for quite a few years. Got into cold calling and call center type stuff around 7 or 8 years ago.
Got it. Periscope is not working for me. Sorry, guys. It's distracting, but I really want to be present for this guy, so I'm going to have to shut you down. I see people's like commenting. I'm like, I don't want to look. Hold on. Let's see here. Hopefully I can shut this down real quick. Stop broadcast. Okay. Sorry about that. I thought it would work out, but it didn't.
No,
but okay, so you got into sales really young, like in your 20s, you said, right?
Right, exactly.
Now, what was it about that? Like, was it something like, oh, sales? Yeah, no problem. Wasn't there like a fear factor, or like, was somebody in your family like into sales and business and stuff like that?
Well, actually, I was a chef, so the company that I purchased produce from, they actually approached me and said, you kind of have a good disposition for that. Your knowledge is strong. If you ever decide to, break away from being a chef and go to the other side and start selling produce to chefs, we'd be happy to have you. So it was kind of an easy transition just because I had the knowledge, and sales is all about knowledge, product knowledge, and that kind of thing. So I had the knowledge, so I was able, and I also was a chef. So it was real easy for me to talk to chefs and kind of relate to them, and that's kind of how I got started.
Interesting. So, so you know how to cook really well, then.
yeah. A little burned out on it, but yeah. My wife wants me to cook a little bit more than I do, actually, but I did all my cooking.
Got it. Okay, so you were a chef. They approached you, like, you got knowledge of this stuff. I think you'd be a great salesperson. From there, I bet you were kind of surprised on how hard it was really to actually do this. It takes more than just knowing about your product. Yes. Correct? Agree or disagree?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know all the nuances and all the the main aspect of sales is to kind of ask questions and get to know the buyer and what they're looking for. It's not all about what you have. It's more about what they're looking for, and then you can kind of coordinate your presentation or what your product or service can do for them. I didn't know any of that, so I was more like, here's what I have. Here's, this stuff is, this new product is great, that kind of thing. But I just studied. I read a lot of books, and I learned from some mentors and that kind of thing, and it got better and better and better, and here we are.
Got it. Were you kind of hooked on it? Like after you kind of like learned the learning curve of it, obviously you had to build up that skill set. And what about that? You know how a lot of people, and I know you met this a lot too with your industry, like people are scared to get rejected or to receive a no. Can you expand on that? Like, was that hard for you to overcome? If so, why? If not, why not? Like, were you like just like, oh, so it's okay, it doesn't bother me? Like, you just naturally had that thick skin. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I didn't really have that thick skin. That is a natural thing. I mean, I've gone through it. I've gone through it with cold calling. It's called call reluctance, where you're afraid to kind of pick up the phone. But you just have to get over it. I mean, I remember when I was selling produce, I would be, the way when you sell produce, you're an account representative, so you have your accounts, and then you also go out and acquire new accounts. So sometimes I'd be pretty nervous to go into a restaurant that I've never spoken to anybody there, or and I'd be nervous that they wouldn't want to buy from me. But it's just repetition, and you just have to force yourself to do it.
I see. Got it. It's like a muscle that you just get stronger. So you were uncomfortable, but you had mentors in your life that actually encouraged you and guided you along the way. And your learning curve and gaining courage and taking action.
What's that? I missed part of that. It broke up.
Oh, no worries. You had mentors in your life when you were learning about the sales process. Was that a big thing? Like, for me, I know I had mentors. I never started a business. Was that the same for you? Like, that really was a big factor in launching your career?
Yeah, absolutely. Just some of the senior sales reps would help me out. But actually, the company that I worked for was based in Los Angeles, and I was a Las Vegas rep. So I was the first rep out in Las Vegas. So I sold to the hotels and the restaurants in Vegas. So I was actually kind of out there on my own on an island. But I did get a lot of support. The good thing was we already had some accounts built up. We were already dealing with some accounts, so it was kind of easy for me to kind of learn by just kind of handling those accounts, and then I kind of learned how to do selling with them, and then it made it easier when I started cold calling on different accounts that were brand new.
I see. Now, for me, like I know when I got into sales, I almost was going broke because I couldn't sell anything. Was that the case for you, or did you just knock it out of the park?
It wasn't too bad. They put me on a salary, which was pretty good. I mean, I left from being an executive chef, so I made sure that I had a decent salary. And then so my deal was more like salary with commission on top, but which made it a lot more comfortable. It wasn't as all commission jobs can be really stressful. I've done a few of those as well, but they can totally be stressful. You big check 1 week, no check for 2 weeks, and then a big check the next week. It's really hard to deal with. You have some of that? You done that before?
Yeah, well, in the beginning in sales, I was 100% commission, went dead broke, was stressed out, but I was like learning along the way in the process. It was hard, but I wouldn't recommend anybody to do that in the beginning, unless you live with your parents. You'll be fine, but okay, so we know we got your superhero origin story. You just got into this call center, so how'd you go from? So, okay, let me ask you, during that hustle, was it like old school, door-to-door contacts and following up? Is that how it was?
Yeah. It was mostly calling. I would actually call. So I acquired some phone skills, but I would normally call, ask to speak to the chef, and set up an appointment. Tell them where I'm from. And usually what I would do is I would bring samples, right? You got to have something when you come in, right? You got to show some value. So I would have samples of some like specialty produce or that kind of thing, something they've never seen before, right off the market. And I would go in with that, and that was kind of my opening. Hey, check this out. Look at the stuff. It's the goods here. You can do this, this, and this with it. And that helped open the doors, present that value immediately. But I would set up appointments with the phone.
Got it. We're going to talk about that sales process too. I just kind of want to understand the whole process. So you went from that type of sales hustle to now you own a call center. How did anything like that to a call center?
Yeah, I moved a couple of different times, and I was living in Colorado and selling produce, and I moved wanted to move back to Las Vegas. My father lives here; he's getting a little bit older, so wanted to move back to Vegas. And once I moved here, that's the job. You know, I was looking for sales jobs, and that was the quickest job to get was managing call center.
Yeah, yeah, and that's funny that you said that skill set of sales. It's marketable if you're good and you enjoy the process. You have to love the process. Like, I think you have to be self-aware. Some people are not comfortable with that, and they're not really good at it. But they have. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to have some of it a little bit.
Absolutely.
In the beginning, until you outsource it to somebody who has a thicker skin like you, or just love the process. But I think regardless, you still need a little bit of that. But
yeah,
so
revenue is everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta have revenue.
I mean, that's the lifeblood. Okay, so you got this call center now. So what do you do? So people call you and hire you and you have your team just like do a cold calling marketing strategy. Is that how that works? I'm not familiar with cold calling industries.
Yeah, we just do different campaigns. Currently, the campaign we're working on, we just actually started it in March, and it's a student loan consolidation campaign. So we basically are helping people consolidate their loans for a fee. And the way it works is we have a team that does the outbound calling. So they're doing the actual cold calling, and then but once they have someone that's interested, they transfer into my group. My group is basically takes the call, and then they go from there and do the sales from that point.
Oh, that's cool, because it's just like the movies. Like what is it that you ever seen Boiler Room, right?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Like that, like you have a team of people just like cold calling. You get a hot lead, they get it to the lead manager or whatever, and they give it to you. You guys close that deal.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but with ethics, though, I'm sure that one. Yeah.
That's a great movie.
It is. What's your favorite sales movie? I love Glenn Ross. That's like my favorite sales movie. It's
that's a good one. Coffees for Closers, right?
Coffees for Closers. Yeah.
Absolutely.
ABC. Always be closing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's old school.
Yeah. What do you have, like a favorite sales movie that you?
I like Boiler Room. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boiler Room's fun.
That one's cool. Yeah. And that's cool. So I didn't know it was like that in the call center. So you guys have a team that kind of filters that, and then you guys get the hot lead, and you guys close deal, and that's just basically your process there, huh?
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah, a little more skilled people doing the actual sales. They get the call transferred into them, and then just a volume of people doing the cold calling.
How many people you have working for you, like your team?
Yeah, we have. I've had at times we've scaled down because we just started this new campaign. The last campaign we were doing was an education campaign. We were matching people up with schools that in their area, that kind of thing. At that point, we had both floors running full steam. Each floor had 40 agents on it, so 80 agents.
Wow, 80 agents, huh?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
you guys are cranking. So let me ask this then. What was I going to ask? So they call, right? You guys filter that. You guys close it. I think for me, how that is applicable for like people like me who's just a solopreneur. I don't have a team. I pretty much outsource projects to like independent contractors or my agency. But
cool.
So I had to wear like pretty much all the hats, and I still do today a little bit.
Right.
But that process of like qualifying a person to become a lead and then moving them up down that sales process, right. I think people get crushed because they don't have a mentor, or they're not aware of that process, that you literally have to go through a lot of garbage to find somebody who's interested. And when you find that interested, there's still a ratio of closing there too.
Absolutely.
Correct. Right. Absolutely. So when people are new to sales or starting their own business, especially in the network marketing industry, they go out there and they start talking to a lot of people, and they're investing so much energy in finding at least somebody who's kind of interested. And then they get like discouraged if they can't close that one lead. Right. And it doesn't work out that way, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're so wrapped up in or devastated when you don't close one or two, that just means you don't have enough people in your funnel. You need a lot of leads, and you need to be able to cut and run. If it doesn't work, you just got to be able to move on. But if you just have a few, if you're just able to get a few people, then it's just too much, because you're stressed out if you don't get the sale.
Yeah.
So you just need
And
to 10x it, basically. You've got to get as much as you possibly can.
and it's a numbers game, and it depends if they're actually talented enough to go through the process effectively, or they just need to put up more numbers. Correct? Because like when the beginning of my salesmanship career, I really took a hit on my ego and my self confidence because I was talking to a lot of people, but I got a lead, and I was like, oh, got a lead. That means I'm gonna get that sale, and it didn't work out that way. And so, can you talk a little bit about that? It's like that's a numbers game, and don't beat yourself up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when I talk to people that are just starting out, that are just picking up the phone for the first time, I suggest that they take the first 100 calls and just use that as completely research, right? So real basic script, calling, whatever niche or whatever area you're going to call. If you're going to, I don't know, if you're selling websites and you want to call bicycle shops, I'm going to sell websites to bicycle shops. I'm going to cut it down to bicycle shops. Today, I might call butchers tomorrow or bakers the next day, and that's what I'm doing. But I suggest a real simple script. Make the call, and then ask questions, have your qualifying questions. But what I want you to do is I want you to gather in what questions they have and what kind of things that they're asking. If you make a mistake, that's okay. First 100 calls, don't even worry about getting any sales. Just use it as research. Once you get a question that you weren't really sure of, you might stumble through it. Write it down after the call or after you do a little session. Go through and now research those little questions and make sure that you relate the questions. The questions are coming. This way you can hear all of them. Put down a little something about what you would answer and make sure that it relates to value with your product or service, and then just keep going. And just take those first 100 calls, no pressure.
Let's see here. What are, for like these people that we're trying to help out, like these solopreneurs, people just getting started, what are some of the questions they should be asking you as a sales professional of 30 years? Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, that came out of nowhere.
That is a good question.
I'm patting myself on the back for that one.
I don't know. I guess it's just all about psychology. I would ask, what are the little triggers? What are the things that you listen for? How do you paint a picture? Because when you're doing sales, especially on the phone, they can't see you, so it's all about tone and cadence and how you use your voice so you keep them interested. And just the psychology of, little words can really change the perception of what you're trying to say. I mean, you can change the way that the prospect is thinking just by the words that you use, and you have to always be cognizant of that.
Got it. Like, especially over the phone, the tonality of it, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes a big difference because you're not there physically, and as you know, you've been a person-to-person salesperson. The physiology of the person communicates what you're trying to say to another person, and that's
Absolutely.
like 85%, like 70% of communication is body language, right?
Body language, eye contact, yeah, everything.
And that makes sense. So you basically lost 70% of your leverage when you're on the phone. So you really got to be good with your tonality and your words that you choose.
You got to be able to grab them. You got to be able to control the call. You can control the call by just getting in the questions. When you're asking questions, or you've got to control, right? If I'm asking you a question and you're answering me, I'm controlling the conversation. I'm controlling where I want it to go. I'm trying to lead you with my questions down the path to where I need you to go. But it's all about controlling it, and without them thinking you're really controlling it. You're asking questions, but you're still in control of the call.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are the number one challenge that you see you training other people? What is the most common obstacle that people have a hard time overcoming?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess it's just they get stuck in. With my agents, my personal agents, because they're on the phone for so long, they're on the phone all day long, they'll get stuck in one way of doing things, and they might have a little bit of success one day doing it a certain way, and they kind of get away from the way that they've been coached or taught or trained because it worked for them one day, right? And you fast forward a couple weeks, and they're really, really struggling, but it's because they kind of got away from what works because they had success doing one thing one way. It's kind of, I don't know, it's like a psychology thing for them.
So they're basically going outside of the system or model that you trained them for that's already proven and trying to make their own thing? Is that what it is? Exactly,
because they had a little bit of success with it, but they don't realize that time after, you go across time, it's more steady, like take it steady and just keep within the program. And it's hard to kind of get them back on track.
That right there is so important. Like, we could glaze over that really quick and go on to the next subject, but I think right there, if people listening on this replay, if you can understand the leverage you have when you have somebody in front of you like this who has 30 years of sales experience telling you that this is a proven model. And how old are your agents typically?
20s.
20s. And okay, so you've been doing it longer than they've been alive, right?
Right.
But yet they know what's best for them, and they try to make their own thing.
Dude, all the time.
That right there
all the
drives
time.
me nuts. And that's just youngsters, even older people too. People like in their 40s. So like for me, I don't know why. I don't know if it's a gift, but you know, if I wanna look buff and get arms and chests and like all that, I'm gonna go look at the Mr. Olympia, you know, Ronnie Coleman or whatever.
Yeah.
I know he's not active now, but look for somebody who has results and do what they do to get the same results you want in your life. Likewise, when it comes to intangible skill sets like this, you have to do that same exact thing. Do exactly what James is doing to get the results that he got in his life. Look at what he's doing. 30 years, he has his own company, running a whole agency. That's crazy. So that just, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant, but that just drives me nuts when people go outside of what's already proven and working. You just have to wrap your personality around it to make it your own. That's where the sales scripts come in, right?
That's exactly right. Yep. Stick to what works. Make it your own just a little bit with some personality in there, but stick to the process. Yeah. But yeah, it's all the time. People want to do what they want to do, and they get a little bit lazy. They don't think they're lazy, but they're being lazy. Yeah. And so that's the constant struggle is keeping people motivated, keeping them on track. And you have to do it by asking them questions. You know, it's kind of a sales thing when you're a manager too. You know, what's going on with you? You know, why did you change this? Did that seem to work for you? Didn't you seem to have more success before? You know, why did you change that up? Let's just try to get back. You have to kind of go that route so that they, in their mind, it's their idea, right? So that's the struggle with management, actually.
Yeah, management. Are you like one of those hardcore sales managers, like in Boiler Room and stuff, or what? What's your style? Like, are you like a nice guy? Like, hey, it's all right, buddy. Get it next time. Or are you like, I had sales manager used to manage me. He'd be like, hey, why the F you didn't close that deal? Do you want to keep your job? Like, I had jobs like that before. So what's your style, man? Like, yes.
Work for somebody like that, yeah. No, I'm pretty chill, but I'm very numbers oriented, and I'm very fair. So I just try to keep it fair with everybody, and I'm all about numbers though. It's bottom line. It's meritocracy.
Yeah.
You know, you eat what you kill and sell, right? So you know, if you're not producing, you're not producing. There's nothing you can say about it. But,
you know, I'm glad you brought that up. It's meritocracy. You eat what you kill. Yep. And you need to go back, like the salesmanships. I'm hammering this because this is something I really believe every wannabe entrepreneur or people who aspire to be entrepreneurs need at least to master a little bit. Even though if it's not your strength, you still need it down the road when you're like, maybe you have money and you're talking about an investment deal, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
It's just amazing.
In sales, right?
Yeah. I mean, dude, if you master a little bit of that, you're just like, you got that skill set and for me, I don't have a college education. I even dropped out of high school too, so I have like no formal education. But I learned the skills of sales. I was able to open up opportunities with other employers and starting my own business on the side throughout the years. So salesmanship, I think, is the most marketable thing, timeless thing you could ever do in the world because everybody needs a good salesperson in their company. And you can go anywhere in the world and get a job if you know how to sell. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, if you can sell, you can work anywhere. That's absolutely right.
That's what happened to you, right? When you went to Las Vegas.
Yep, exactly. That's how I got into this. But like, just to kind of expand on what you were saying, it's kind of like Grant Cardone says, you know, you sell or be sold. Every interaction, every time you talk to somebody, either your idea is going to win out or their idea is going to win out. You're going to either sell or they're going to sell on you, right?
Yeah.
I use that on my agents sometimes as well. Like, why are you letting that person rebuttal you and give you objections? They just sold you. Are you going to sell them or are they going to sell you?
Yeah. Do you have? Is it more male dominated with your agency or is it like some females? How does that work?
I would say we're mostly female, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, mostly female on our floor. I'd say 70%, 70-30.
Interesting. That's cool. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Actually, my top salesperson is top 2 are female.
Well, wow.
Yeah,
females are really good at sales. Because you know why? I think because females don't have an ego.
Yeah.
guys, we have an ego and we get hurt easily.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I honestly, yeah, and girls are more, honestly, everybody knows girls are more influential than guys. I mean, they make the most money as bartenders compared to a guy, you know, stuff like that. So,
right.
So do you have like a personal development program that people go to within your company for your agents and your team?
You know, we don't. No, we don't have anything like that developed yet. I mean, one of the biggest things that I'm working on is culture. That's one of the things I struggle with a little bit. Is I want the right culture on my floor, and with call centers, it's a little bit difficult, right? It's a little bit of a transient type job. You know, people will come and go, but I'm trying to figure out how to keep my culture strong, make sure that any bad apples or bad eggs get out of there as quickly as possible. That's kind of what my main focus is right now, is creating that good culture.
Got it. And I think you're right on, because Gary talks about creating that culture too. Do you follow do you follow his philosophy with that in your company?
I do. I try to. Yeah, I try to get as much as I can.
It's awesome, because I just heard a podcast said when he first started VaynerMedia, the number one thing he wanted to do is establish culture.
Yes.
And first hire, it's going to set the tone for the rest of your culture and for years to come.
Exactly.
And
yeah, you got to have a tight crew right around you, big time. He's right about that. They have to share the same vision, same philosophy.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's interesting, and it's, you know, maybe a solopreneur can't relate to that, but to be aware of it is a good idea, because, you know, I don't need to build culture because I ain't got a team. You know what I mean? So like when I do though, it's like
it will happen.
It will, yeah. So
yeah, you'll get you'll need help.
Yeah, for sure, because I'm planning to outsource a lot of the heavy lifting that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay, that's awesome. So do you have any like and you can tell I'm just shooting from the hip here. I ain't got no questions here. Do you have any crazy stories that you could tell, like one phone call that stuck out of the years? I was like, wow, that was a pretty crazy phone call. Like, do you have like one that stands out?
Oh man, there's crazy phone calls every day. I mean, I can't even think of what stands out.
What recent one? Like a recent one, I guess.
It's just people well, you know, it's cold calling, right? So people try to play games all the time. So there's they just try to act like you know, we'll ask how much student loan debt do you have? 380,000. You know, they're just trying to play games. But I do recall one of the craziest excuses that I've heard. I can give you one of those. Yeah, excuse from my agent is she came in and she was late. She was like 2.5 hours late, and her excuse was that and I don't know Candy Crush, but maybe you do. But her excuse was that she changed the time on her Candy Crush to another month, like 3 months in advance, to get more money or something like that, and that it messed up her alarm clock, and that's why her alarm clock went off late, and now she's 2.5 hours late. Like, what?
Oh my goodness. What? That is like the weakest excuse ever. You know, she made that up.
Yeah, I know. That sounded good.
That's funny. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's cool. So are you? So I know you're helping people on your social media. I encourage people watching this replay to reach out to him. He's very responsive on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Are you on Snapchat?
Not on Snapchat. Nope.
Get on it, man. That's like so fun, man. I do
Instagram stories every day, but it's similar to that, right?
It's very similar. So I know you're helping solopreneurs right now. That's kind of like your target market, right? Helping these people that are just getting started.
Exactly.
So you're helping them for free. Are you planning to have like a product or a service or some kind of program that if they want to take it to the next level, they can like invest in and get more coaching from you at a higher level?
Yeah, maybe in the future. Right now I'm trying to just build awareness, build a community, taking it slow. That's down the road. I'll be patient. Possibly in a couple of years, once I've built a large community, I might maybe offer a program or something like that, or some one-on-one mentoring at a cost. But right now, I'm just helping people. I mean, if someone has a script that they want me to look at, I'll look at it for them. I'll give them suggestions. I'll do all that. For free.
That's amazing. I know people will charge a lot of money for that. So let me ask you this, James. Let me ask you first before I guess that. Do you like to be called James or Jim? Which one?
I go by Jim. Yeah, Jim
Okay.
mostly.
How come you didn't tell me? I've been calling you James this whole time.
Either way is good.
All right,
Either way.
Jim. So let's okay, so do you actually write sales copy? Like, do you actually write scripts too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Damn,
Yep.
dude.
We write this.
And
The entire script for,
so you're like a sales copywriter then.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, we write the script, and then we're constantly developing different rebuttals or you know, how to overcome objections. I mean, I have a training team as well, and we're constantly going over things like that and getting information out to our reps. Once we hear kind of some objections or some things that people have questions about, then we'll develop, you know, answers that, you know, bring it back and show the value and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a constant thing. We're constantly writing.
Interesting. So, where did you learn the sales copywriting skills?
You broke up there for a second, but you asked me where did I learn sales copywriting?
Yeah, where did you learn that? Was that from the trenches, from experience?
Yeah, just,
did you program?
No, just working and just researching all the time. I'm constantly reading. I'm always reading still. I read all kinds of different blogs, sales blogs, that kind of thing. And then it's a lot of experience, right? A lot of knowing how to answer questions and diffuse issues and that kind of thing. It's just all from experience mostly. But the experience came from just constantly researching. Constantly reading.
Wow. And just so the combination of researching, studying, as well as taking action and
and doing it, seeing what works,
and working. So that's like the best right there. So for people who listen to this, if you guys need help with sales or sales copy, a script, or want to review a script, you need to contact this guy. I know a lot of people charge a lot of money just to review a script, let alone write one. This guy said he's going to do it for free. If you're bootstrapping your business, hit this guy up, man. I'm actually going to talk to him after this interview to see what we can do together. You know what I mean? It's like, what kind of stuff can you help me with? Because I suck at sales copy. I'm trying to learn that. So,
sure, man. No problem.
So these, do you write sales copy for like a video sales letter too as well? That's one of the things I'm fascinated about. As a salesman, that's what clicked a couple of years ago. Like, these people actually write sales copy letter for video sales, a video, and they just drive traffic to this video, and this video basically sells and closes them automatically without you being present. Do you do that type of a?
Never done that before, but I'd like to check that out. That sounds interesting.
It is interesting. That's why because I'm old school sales too. When I made that connection where people actually write the script and they have like a really good actor or actress or somebody who's good in front of a camera, you're pretty good in front, and then they just kind of do the script and they upload it onto whatever landing page, sales page, and they drive traffic to it, and it's basically like a virtual salesperson, 24/7, 365.
Yep, absolutely. Never done that before.
And I think that's fast.
Let's do it.
I think that's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
That's why I got into this industry, because I wasn't like, obviously not as experienced as you in sales. I mean, I started sales when I was like 21, 22. I'm 34 now. I mean, nowhere is not even double the amount of you did it, but
that's plenty of time though. That's a lot of experience.
Yeah, and so, and I hear people talk about digital marketing and Facebook ads. I'm like, whatever. It's all about being a salesperson, entrepreneur, doing the old school stuff. I don't know what happened, but when I clicked those two things together, it was game over. I was like, okay, this is how these guys are making tons of money, huh? Right. So can you imagine, like, that's what I was saying, can you imagine infusing your skill set as old school timeless principle with this new technology and videos and all that stuff? I mean, that just blows my mind, man. There's so much leverage and scalability.
We'll have to collaborate on something. I'd like to check that out.
I discovered this 2 years ago, and I'm talking about it like I just discovered it today. It's like, it still fascinates me. It's amazing. And honestly, the skill set of what you have right now is so timeless. It's like, it'll never go away. Like, people like us, if we could actually connect the dots, we'll always be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, hey, I know this is kind of lengthy. You probably have an agenda later on today. So should they go to your website first, or just follow you on social media?
Yeah, just follow me on social media. I'm strong on Facebook or Instagram. Both. I kind of put Facebook has my longer videos, obviously, because Instagram is limited to 60 seconds. Yeah. Instagram, I'm a little more motivational as well. I put up some motivational messages as well as my videos. But the best way to follow me is probably on Facebook. All you have to do is type in call center boss, and I'll come right up. Same thing with Instagram, call center boss, and I'll be there.
Boss.
Mm-hmm.
You ever consider having like an audio version instead of video, like all those teaching, rip the audio and have like a SoundCloud account so people can listen on the go? I
do have a SoundCloud account, actually. And I actually, cool. I got to get back into it a little bit, but I usually post on SoundCloud some of my daily motivational audio that I do. So every day I come in, and before my agents get there, I'll make an audio, actually, and I'll send it to them in an email. Please listen to this quick audio. It's usually about 2 minutes long. I'll talk to them about what we need to focus on, maybe give them a little tip, and then give them a little motivation. And a lot of times I'll take that and I'll just post it over on SoundCloud.
Interesting. So you kind of develop your own personal development thing within your company for your team.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, every day I'm trying to teach.
I think you kill two birds with one stone. If you're going to reach out to solopreneurs plus build your culture and then personal development, why not use the content you teach your team and put it out here to the world for people like me or who wants to learn? I think that would be great, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on Facebook, there's a lot of that, a lot of those videos where I give tips and everything. I also have a lot of like day in the life of the call center. It's pretty cool on there.
That's fun. That's like
it's pretty cool.
Reality show. Huh?
Yeah, kind of cool. And then I also have when we did this in mid-March, we started to do this new campaign. So I have a lot of things on there where I'm talking about the script and I'm talking to people with my team and we're rewriting the script. It's pretty cool. You can check it out. But that's on there as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hit this guy up, Jim, man, the call boss. Hit him up. He's going to do some free stuff for you for right now. I imagine the next 6 to 12 months, you're probably not going to do a lot of free stuff. Probably will, but you'll have some more programs down the road. I feel that you will. But
I'm jabbing.
I wanted to thank you so much. Yeah, you're jabbing. Let it jab. Yeah.
While I'm jabbing.
That's all jabbing. This is a good opportunity for you guys to get an expert like him on your side to help you out. So I appreciate your time, Jim. Thank you so much, man. I'm glad we connected on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it. So I'm going to end this broadcast, and we'll just connect after this if you have time, or do you want
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to end it, man. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it, man. This was awesome. I learned a lot. Me, personally, I learned a lot. I hope the people watch it, and I know they're going to learn a lot, too. So thank you so much, Jim.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, bye.
And